Hey, welcome back to the show. Do not forget to check out our YouTube channel for more episodes of Right on the Money, where we discuss financial topics with advisors and insurance professionals right there in your area. Now, our guest today, Desmond Taylor, partner with CLC Financial Services. Desmond, always fantastic.
Yes, of course. Thanks, Dennis.
Now, we've been having an amazing conversation, and one thing I want to talk about now is conversations, education, and bridging generations, because that's something that you have. One thing I want to mention to the audience, though, is even though you're a younger guy, right? Even though you're very tech savvy, I think most people would be shocked to know that you see, tell them the percentage of people that you see in person, because I think the assumption would be wrong.
We see about 95% of our clients in person. In fact, you could even go and say that about 100% of them are in person once we get to the second to third meeting. We will meet with our clients virtually on a Teams as an introduction to kind of get that fact finding. But after that, when we're going through the reports, we're very much so in person, because meeting on Teams or meeting on Zoom or all these different methods that really developed and got popular after COVID can just get clunky. I think that we're really good with tech. I think that we're able to do it better than most people out there, but it still is more efficient and more effective to do it in person.
When it comes to these conversations about money and between generations, do you see that? How do you overcome that?
Yeah, when we're very education based. So in fact, all of our clients come from either workshops, seminars, or some type of educational event that we put on. That is by far, except for referrals, that's by far and large how most of our the people that we work with come in and meet us. And I think part of the reason is just because they see how transparent we are with everything. When we're up there talking, we're just laying it out. Sometimes, we joke about how blunt we actually are with stuff, but we do that because, at the end of the day, going back to the clients or the people that we're working with, their retirement accounts, that's what we think that they want, right? Yeah. Is they just want to cut through the jargon. We talked about the tech that is used, but just to use that to cut through the jargon and get to the point and say, this is what you have. This is where we plan on going with it, and then kind of everything in between we'll lay out in a clean manner, but getting there effectively and efficiently and transparently is really big for us.
Do you run into the challenge of helping people have those kind of conversations in their own family? Because we were talking off camera about how around the dinner table people will talk politics and they'll talk sports and they'll talk religion, but nobody talks money.
Yeah, it's like, how many times do you and your buddies sit around and talk about each other's net worth, right? Oh, yeah. And so, promoting that financial literacy and getting and being in an environment where you can talk about those things, we believe is important. We understand that, you may not want to put your information on public forum all the time, but we'll share examples, right? We'll redact information, but share examples and give a case of what happened and our experience with it. We have, a lot of clients, we see this every single day. This is what we do. And so we're happy to address that and share the experiences that we had. Again, going back to the transparency, share the experiences that we had and give the recommendations based off of that, right? And so I think, being open and honest and with yourself and just saying, hey, I may not talk about my finances as much as maybe I should.
If you could pass on one tip to those that are retired, getting ready to retire, if they could adopt one Gen Z financial habit, what would you tell them?
There's some really great, and I think that this is something that's underplayed, is there's some really great actually social media apps out there, like Blossom is one of them. Mm-hmm. And you can go on there and essentially you can link some of your accounts to this and you can see what other people are doing. It gives you trade notifications. And, I talked with colleagues, friends, a lot about, our finances. And there's groups that we're in where we're talking about trades and things that we do. And I think it's just more about, being open and information sharing is really important. Again, you don't want to sit there and put everything on open forum and totally discuss, every part of your financial situation. But I think that there is a lot of growth that can come from, being open and discussing your finances with people, and so we try to promote that definitely. We teach a lot of classes on financial literacy. Again, educational basis where we come from with it, and a part of that is just the classes are in person, by the way. And so we try to get discussions going on. We want questions to be asked. We want people to come up afterwards and say, this is my situation, and kind of and discuss that, because you learn. You don't know what you don't know.
Sure.
And so hearing somebody else ask that question, you could go, okay, well, that does apply to me, or maybe use a part of it. Yeah.
I would imagine that you run into a lot of people, because there is access to so much information. Like the do-it-yourself mentality is out there. Maybe the number one myth you run into when it comes to money.
Thinking that leaving your money in the bank is not a risk, right? Whenever you're leaving your money in a checking or savings account at the bank, you are subjecting yourself to inflation. Every year that you enter into retirement, especially when you get from 73 and beyond, you have to take those required minimum distributions. And in retirement, you'll probably take distributions from your account prior to that. And so you have to enter in assuming that you are just going to have a negative rate of return, because you're taking withdrawals from your account. And so, leaving your money in a checking or savings account is just compounding that negative rate of return, because now not only are you having that 4 to 5% withdrawal rate that you're going to be taking, but then add 2 to 3% inflation on top of that. And that's a real risk that you can run into. And it's one that's called sequence of return risk in retirement.
That's the craziest thing I think about when it comes to decisions that we make about money. Like everything has a pro and a con, and thank goodness that folks can come and see you and your team at CLC and do a second opinion and have that conversation with you.
I think that second opinions are huge. A lot of people will go and get second opinions for a remodel on their house.
Darn right.
And so, going and getting a second opinion on your retirement portfolio is really important. Why wouldn't you go get a second opinion on something that's going to be for the rest of your life? Why wouldn't you go get a second opinion on your retirement portfolio when you're getting 2, 3, 4, 5 on that bathroom remodel?
You betcha. You betcha. Well, I tell you what, I want to say thank you for having you on the show. You being here has been fantastic. And reach out to Desmond, reach out to the team, and get that second opinion. Because you know what? If you're thinking, if it's gnawing at you a little bit, that maybe your retirement planning might be outdated, that means you need a second opinion, right? So with that being said, though, don't forget, you can watch full Right on the Money Show episodes on our official YouTube channel or rightonthemoneyshow.com. That, of course, is a spot where you can get up-to-date financial news and insights from the top insurance and financial professionals in your area. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.